Go ahead, Nolan.
Scott, congratulations on the third of 3 events in as many weeks. The stretch is over, but what did you think of the main event tonight? We'll start there. Vadim Nemkov getting his belt back from or retaining his title against Phil Davis.
I'll tell you, Phil is a tough guy. Nemkov is a beast. There's a reason why he's a champ. And my hat's off to Phil, though. It was a great scrap. Those guys really duked it out. And when I think about Phil, I mean, what a class act. He hit Nemkov with a hook in the 4th round, would have dropped most people. So it tells you a lot about Nemkov's, will to continue and his ability to sustain damage. So great fight.
Corey Anderson was on a man on a mission against Dovletchon Yagshimuradov. What did you think of his performance in the co-main?
Yeah, I mean, really, Yags is a tough guy. Comes out throwing bombs. And, Corey, seasoned veteran, took his time, did what he had to do. But really, for, the first round, I thought maybe it might swing the other way. So we had some great fights. The tournament fights were amazing tonight. And overall, we had a fantastic card. I think this is the best card out of the 3 that we've thrown so far. And I think they're just going to get better and better.
I'd be remiss not to bring up Paul Daly versus Sabaho Masi. Where does that rank? I mean, we were talking, I think that might be the best fight since you guys started throwing events here at during the pandemic.
Yeah, that's why I love Paul Daly. I mean, people, underestimate this guy sometimes, or like you said, just don't give him his respect. But the guy is a legend in the sport. I mean, my favorite fight of all time, honestly, is him fighting Nick Diaz in Strikeforce, I think 2012. And I thought he knocked out Nick for a second there, and then Nick got up, and it was amazing. And to me, this was another performance like that. I mean, the kid he fought was really tough, and they thought that it might, that he might be the underdog. But Paul once again prevailed, and he brought it. So congratulations to Paul Daly, and another great win for a legend. I'm going to start calling him a legend now.
And hearing those compliments, I mean, do you think that you guys will be able to carve out those catchweight fights that he's been talking about?
Yeah, listen, it's always awkward when the fighter's on the podium trying to negotiate, like his next purse with you when I'm sitting there watching him. Because I'm thinking in my head, you're going to make weight when we pay you more money? Well, I think we're paying you pretty well already. You should come to weight. But listen, Paul can do what he wants to do. If he wants to make a title run, we're going to open up some doors for him and try to, get him to that point. But if he wants to have some fights at 75, 70, it's up to him. Personally, I wish he'd go to 70 and really give it another shot, because this guy has power in both hands. He's fought everybody. He's never ducked anybody. And on any given day, if he punches you, man, it's over.
2 more for me. Julia Budd headlined your prelims against Diana Silva. Before the fight and after, she said that she hoped to kind of cut in front of Kat Zingano in line. Where do you see the top contenders in that division when it comes to fighting the winner of Cyborg Smith?
Yeah, you know what? I think you got to go check out our rankings. There you go. So, but listen, I think Kat definitely deserves to be in that top mix. I think that, I think Julia, look, she proved that she could fight Cyborg. Can she beat her again? I'm not sure. But as far as fighting and being competitive, I think she did just as good job as anybody that I've seen, recently fight Cyborg and hung in there. The fight in LA last year or the beginning of 20. Yeah, beginning of 20. So about a couple months ago, that was a brutal fight. But Julia got her shots in, and she did some damage too. So, we'll see. I'm going to go back and shuffle the deck like we always do, and we'll come out with some great fights moving forward.
Whenever Fedor's in the house, I have to ask you a Fedor question. I don't know if you saw before this event started, but I had tweeted something out about our conversation the other day and how there were different options on the table for Fedor. Josh Barnett chimed in and said that the only 2 options are Josh Barnett and Joshua Barnett. Did you see that? And is that a fight that you think needs to happen?
I didn't see it. I didn't see it, but I'll bring it up to Fedor too. See what he thinks and what he wants to do. Again, this is going to be a big moment for him. He's got 2 fights left. I call it on our retirement tour, and honestly, I think we might have already been done with Fedor's fights by now if COVID didn't hit, because we're trying to do a fight in Europe for him, months ago. But we've been waiting for the crowds to come back, because I just don't think that Fedor should fight, his last fight in front of no crowds. I think he should be in an audience where people can really come and appreciate him and pay tribute to the legend that he is.
Giancarlo.
Hi, Scott. Last week you had 5 fights on the main card, and tonight 4 fights. Just curious, what did you think of the way the events were, and in terms of pacing, which do you prefer?
I think pacing was really well tonight. I think that we had 4 fights on the TV card. 2 of them were ended early, but we had a couple that went the distance. The last fight went 5 rounds, and I think we signed off just in time. So for the prelims, I think we were probably 10 minutes before the hour, and I think we were probably 10 minutes before the half hour that we ended the main event fights, and I think everybody's happy.
And final one for me, Paul Daly, just to follow up on the other question, talked about him being the champion of the 75-pound division and challenging guys who can't make 170. Just how open are you to experimenting with something like that, like a 165-pound division, 175-pound? Do you think there's a place for that in MMA?
What I will say is we're going to stick to our divisions, and I like our divisions. I think that, we have great athletes in each division competing. To make something for Paul, just to have a championship fight at 175, I'm not sure if we're going to do that, but we'll definitely give him some opportunities for him to shine and show his skills and compete and, move forward.
Martina?
Hello, sir. This is my first time talking with you. It's a pleasure. Just 3 questions about some Polish MMA and Polish fans that could watch Bellator now, thanks to cooperation between Bellator and public television. First of all, I would like to know something about cooperation between your organization and Polish KSW. There were some talks between you about matching Paul Daly with Roberto Soldic, our Polish Croatian welterweight champ. Is it still on the table or maybe not? And if not, why?
We have a good relationship with KSW, and I've known them for a very long time, over 10 years now, and they do a great job. And we talked about doing something together, and the door is always open. We just couldn't put it together financially to make it work for everybody. But in the future, if there was an opportunity that made sense for all parties, we definitely would do it, because we do co-promote with other, brands across the world. So to me, it just has to make sense on a fiscal level.
We'll take a couple more. Santiago?
Hi, Scott. Greetings from Amsterdam and congratulations on a beautiful night of fights. You just announced the fight between Lima and Amasov for in June. How many more events are you planning to have in June? And is a Gegard Mousasi title defense in your plans for June?
Well, the thing is, you're going to have to wait maybe another week or so before we announce some more fights. So I want to hold off on making a commitment on who's going to fight next. But I'm excited about this Amasov fight with Lima. As you guys know, Amasov is a beast. He's a killer. He has amazing striking, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. And so I'm excited to see him fight. And Douglas Lima is, he is a tough kid, and he is definitely somebody that, has proven himself in the cage over and over. And being labeled as one of the dangerous fighters right now for Bellator. So I think Douglas is going to have a great fight. He's going to have his hands full. I think Amasov is going to have his hands full, and it's going to be another great war. I think we're going to see an amazing fight on June 11th.
I'm really enjoying these events in Uncasville, but we also want some MMA on prime time in Europe. When do you think Bellator is going to resume with the very successful European series events?
Mm-hmm. My guess is as we start traveling here in the U.S. and as a travel ban opens up for us to travel around the world, then we'll be able to come there and throw fights. We do have plans to continue traveling internationally and doing fights. So it might be sometime in the late summer or it might be in the fall, but we will be there before the end of the year.
Darren?
Thanks for having me. Scott, congratulations on a wonderful event, continuing a streak of wonderful events. Two-parter, and the first question is the Showtime partnership, everything going as planned? I'd imagine that everything is, but curious to hear more about that. And the second part is, how long are you planning to being at Mohegan Sun for? Is this a long-term deal or something that goes month to month?
I'll tell you, we were here since July, so we've been here almost, 9 months, 10 months, and we'll continue to be here, let's say, through midsummer. And as things open up around the world and around the U.S., we're definitely going to get on the road and start promoting. But I do think that you'll see us here at the Mohegan Sun with audience coming into the hotel and coming into the arena here. So I believe that this, by the second fight, maybe by Chris Cyborg's fight against Leslie Smith, you might see some audience. It might be a small percentage of the venue capacity size. But we're going to work with the COVID task force from Viacom. We're going to work with the casino. We're going to work with the state, and we're going to make sure that we do it under the rules and regulations and guidance of everybody. But I do believe that by the end of May, you'll see us here with a small audience as we can move forward into the further months like June, July, August. The capacity will grow. And I do believe that, by the end of the year, I think it's going to be full capacity everywhere, hopefully. And then we'll start traveling as soon as we can.
And the Showtime partnership is going as amazing as planned?
Yeah, you know what? Again, what's great about this relationship is these are people I have already worked with in the past. And it's like a reunion. Just like, 10 years later, it's just like a reunion. And the same producer is there, the same PR SVP is there. Steven was there when I had Strikeforce, and we had Gordon Hall and David Dinkins. I mean, it's a lot of the same crew. So it's like going back in time a little bit and having a reunion with everybody. And I think that if you look at their storytelling, I think they do it better than anybody else. And honestly, those feature pieces that they built and that I've seen rolling out on the broadcast are just phenomenal. And they know how to tell a story, and they know how to paint a picture. And I think that's a great addition for the Bellator production.
Donna?
Scott, a quick yes or no one about the European series you were just talking about. I've read rumors online that it's finished. Is it yes or no? Is that done?
Say that again, Donna?
Is the European series done or no?
Done?
Finished.
Oh, no. The European series is not done. You have to remember, even though things are opening up, we are not able to travel across the world as easily as we need to in order to resume our business there. But I do believe that in the European time zone, before the end of the year, you're going to see, 3-4 fights there, in different countries and different cities. I do believe we'll go to a couple cities we haven't been before. But as far as it being done, no, we spent a lot of time. We signed a lot of fighters. We owe a lot of fighters fights there that we're going to honor. And we're creating a game plan. Well, actually, we already have a game plan right now. And when we're able to execute it, we're going to go full steam.
I got a lot of response on Twitter yesterday when I talked about your next card, Bellator 258. I said it was an obscenely good card. It's the kind of card that I believe you probably could have snuck onto Showtime pay-per-view. Maybe it's got that level of star power. Unfortunately, you've lost one of the big fights. James Gallagher, also Brian Moore is out with COVID, but James Gallagher was a big main card fight. Have you any comment on what exactly is the reasoning behind Gallagher's removal?
What is the reason James was out?
Yeah.
James is out due to an injury. I love James Gallagher. I always really enjoy him watching. I enjoy watching him fight. Patrick Mix was going to be a big fight for him, and we were really looking forward to that. But if you look at the entire fight card, this card is stacked top to bottom and has some big star power. It's going to have some amazing fights. MVP versus Derek Anderson. I'm looking forward to that. Of course, you have the fight that everybody's looking forward to in the tournament, which is Rumble versus Romero. And then Juan Archuleta versus Pettis. That's going to be another crazy fight. So from top to bottom, undercard, TV fights, it's going to be just a massive fight card. And I think week after week, we've been delivering these amazing events. And that's the beauty of the Showtime relationship is that, look, you get 22 dates a year for MMA. You get 22 dates a year for boxing. It's the best value proposition in combat sports is the Showtime subscription.
Last one, Jay.
Thanks very much, Scott, and great event again tonight. The Grand Prix has been really, really good so far. We heard tonight that Julius Angelicus will be the alternate, or at least one of the alternates. So I'm just wondering if there will be others, and what was the deciding factor in picking Julius over someone like, say, Carl Albrechtsen, who also picked up a big win tonight?
Yeah, you know what? We're talking to everybody, and to be honest, we're going to prepare a couple alternates, But I will say this, our goal is to keep this tournament intact because of just the star power that it has. And if we have to wait a month or two or 6 weeks, we're going to wait for the competitors to get ready. So if we have an injury, we're going to be flexible. But things seem to be going along, in a good fashion. No one's gotten seriously hurt. Bader is good. I believe that Corey is good. Nemkov's a little banged up, but by the time he fights again, he'll be good. And then we'll see what happens on May 7th between the Rumble fight versus Yoel Romero. So if they don't get any injuries in May, this fight could happen as early as July, the semifinals, or it could be August, depending on how everybody's feeling. And we're gonna knock this thing out before the end of the year.
All right. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, guys.